Hi, I'm Brian Carrier from Basics Technology, and this is the beginning of our Autopsy one-day training course. This course covers the basics of using Autopsy in a digital investigation. It is the online version of our typical one-day in-person class. Now, to get all this material into a one-day class, we assume some basic knowledge of digital forensics. So concepts like what an MD5 hash value is or how to acquire data from a hard drive aren't covered in this class. We assume you already do forensics and have used some other forensics tool, and we're going to focus on how to do those techniques that you're already doing and to expose you to unique features in Autopsy that you may not be aware of. The course is going to be broken up into a bunch of videos, each of which is 30 minutes long or less, and several of them have hands-on sessions in between them to reinforce the concepts from that video. So what is Autopsy? Autopsy is a digital forensics platform. You can use it to analyze hard drives, smartphones, media cards, USB drives, etc. There's three main goals that we've used to design an Autopsy for the past many years. First is ease of use. As you'll see from these slides and videos later on, we have very simple interfaces and wizards to guide you through the process. Our goal is that you can actually use Autopsy without needing a whole lot of training or reading a whole lot of the manuals, although they are there if you need them. Second is fast results. By this, we don't mean that we have some kind of crazy advanced GPU-enabled technology, but what we mean is that we're going to show you information as soon as possible once we or our analysis modules know about them. The early funding from Autopsy version 3 came from the US Army, and their use case was 2 hours or less with a device by a soldier who had many other jobs and could potentially be in a dangerous situation. So with that kind of scenario and requirements, this became apparent we had to provide quick keyword hits or hash hits and not wait for the entire drive to be analyzed, which could take hours or days. A classic example of how we achieve this is keyword search. So we do index keyword search like many other tools do, but we don't wait hours or days until the entire drive is indexed before you can search it. We allow you to pre-configure some keywords, and every 5 minutes or so, we'll kind of pause the process and search for those keywords. And we prioritize user content over operating system files or program files, which means in the first 10, 20 minutes, you may have keyword hits for all of the user content on that drive, so you can start to go through those results and analyze them. Third bullet is sensibility. Autopsy 3 came out of some discussions at OSDFCon, which is our open source conference that we organize every year. And the basic discussion was about how frustrating it was for users who had to copy data between tools because no tool solves all problems. And the examiners wanted the capability of being able to incorporate third-party modules so they could do all their investigations within one tool and not copy data around and not have to merge reports together. And Autopsy 3 came out of that concept. And so therefore we have many places in Autopsy that are designed to be add-on modules. And we'll see later on, there's a whole bunch of public modules out there where people have built functionality and added it in so that you can stay in one tool and do most of your investigation in that one tool. But in this course, you'll realize that Autopsy has all the features that you need as a free and open source tool. And there's also a whole lot of features that are unique to Autopsy that you can't find in commercial closed source solutions. Autopsy is free to download and use, and there is commercial support from Basics Technology if you want that for your lab. So here's the main UI for Autopsy. It's pretty simple, right? There's a tree on the left-hand side. You navigate that. There's a table on the right-hand side, which can also show some thumbnails. You pick an item from the top there, and there's various viewers on the lower right-hand corner. Very simple, very intuitive. There's also dedicated UIs for when that simple UI layout is not powerful enough. So you can see here our timeline interface. There's also interfaces for communications and pictures and videos. Brief history of Autopsy, because many people think of Autopsy and think back to a version that was this very minimal web interface that ran on Linux. So that existed. That was Autopsy 1 and 2. I first released those back in 2001, and they were an interface primarily to the SleuthKit command line tools. And they only ran on Linux and Mac and these Unix type systems because that's what I operated on, and that's all I really cared about. Back in 2010, we had our first OSDFCon conference. The discussions of this extensibility idea came into it. We started to work on this extensible platform and also had a different mindset of focusing more on a Windows-based solution since that's where the most of the examiners operate on. So 2012 was when version 3 was first released by Basis Technology. And again, started from scratch, goal being a platform, Windows-based, focused on automation, and we had that U.S. Army funding, which focused on kind of soldiers in the field, a short amount of time. Ever since that date, 2012, Autopsy has been constantly evolving. We have a variety of funding sources and methods to allow us to bring in a variety of capabilities that you'll learn about as part of this course that are quite impressive. So who is Basis Technology? Where are we coming from? We are the primary developers of Autopsy at this point. I lead up the forensic group. And essentially what we do is build and maintain Autopsy as part of our forensics engineering services. We build custom forensics tools for a variety of companies and organizations. And we also have a cyber triage incident response software. But essentially, our goal as a group is to focus on building easy to use, intuitive, and capable forensics tools and incident response tools. So the rest of the class is laid out as follows. We're going to go over installation and overview of Autopsy, a bit more detail than we just did. We'll talk about cases and adding data sources. We'll cover the basics of using the UI. And then we'll spend a whole bunch of time on how to analyze the data sources that we add in. And then at the end, we'll talk about how to tag, how to comment and make reports. And finally, we'll talk about how to install some of those third-party modules because this is a framework and designed to be extensible. As mentioned before, we'll integrate some hands-on material periodically through all these things with the slides. Thanks.